This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
Welcome to the South Lincoln Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie. It is Sunday evening. I'm going to record a little episode, get it edited quickly, and get it out tonight. That's the goal. We'll see if that happens. I think I'll be all right. There's not really a whole lot going on in the news. I don't know. I mean, there's always things going. I guess it's just not much is being covered right now. I mean, we live in Trump world, and if it's not Trump, it's no big deal, apparently. There's a few things, but I heard Tucker Carlson's review of the debate or whatever, because he's off in Australia. He's not like all other podcasters and journalists or what have you, where that's his Super Bowl. Hey, we got to talk about the debate. He's off doing other stuff. he's a Tucker Carlson is a different bird, for sure.
What have you been up to? What is the hot gossip? Tell me everything.
Adam Carolla. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Adam Carolla. He's a pretty funny feller. It's on Loveline, and they had that show, Jimmy Kimmel, the Dude Show, the Man Show. Didn't really ever watch that. Didn't like him on Loveline because he's an atheist, and he used to talk about it a lot. And then I when he got his own podcast, I started listening eventually, and I don't listen all the time. Him and Drew have a show now, and Carolla doesn't disrespect religious people. I think he did in the past, and that's why I didn't like him. And now he actually has reverence for religious people because he knows, we're helping kind of keeping things in order. But so apparently, I don't know exactly what show it is, but Carolla did go on Fox News Nation. You went on News Nation? Okay. So Carolla was on News Nation talking to Gavin Newsom.
You shut the beaches in California during COVID.
Yeah, I think we all were working on information at the time. We had no basis of deeply understanding the virus. I think they did the same thing.
So you didn't know anything, so why'd you shut the beaches?
States like Florida.
If you didn't know anything, why'd you shut the beaches?
Well, we didn't know. Yeah, because people were concerned early in the pandemic. Information was coming out as it relates to how it was transferred.
So when he runs for president eventually, Adam Carolla had an interview that lasted almost an hour with him before, from 10 years ago. It is great, and I will cover it on this podcast at some point. Once he runs for president, I'll do a live reaction along while watching it. It's fantastic. It's amazing. Everybody should watch it, whether you're politically active or even just sales. I mean, just how he conducted himself going after DeSantis, just calmly,
Are you stupid or something?
It's fantastic and funny because it's Adam Carolla.
And people were cautious, trying to keep people alive. And I should say this,
so
Adam,
you didn't let them go in the sunshine and get vitamin
California
D
outperformed.
and exercise, so you shut the beaches. Okay. And you arrested a guy who was paddleboarding in the bay.
Health, wealth, and...
He's just smiling. He's smiling.
Yeah, and he's
such a snake.
And he shines
we're
it all behind
geniuses
shutting
in
outdoor
hindsight.
dining. Why'd you shut down outdoor dining? Go ahead, science.
Good to see Adam.
Based on science, you didn't have.
The debate tonight.
It's not a debate. You shut down outdoor dining. You canceled businesses. Had nothing to do with science. All right, let him finish. People. All right, go ahead.
All this happened in the.
He hates him. Oh, that's so good. So I've seen this. And before I play it, I probably should. Who is Colonel Douglas Macgregor? Let's look this up. We don't want to be spreading misinformation. Even though very few people are watching this. I still, U.S. Army Colonel. Former government official. He did the Gulf War, Kosovo. Okay. So what he's saying is legitimate.
The media worked closely with the White House to conceal the truth that was on display last night. President Biden is not fit to discharge the immense duties of the presidency.
Well,
the alarming evidence of his cognitive decline was on display for all to witness. Yet,
folks, that public display, I mean, once the media thing calms down, that's what happens. I mean, it's going to be a week or so until we know whether he's going to stick with it or not. Foreign actors and how they may think that now might be an opportunity for them to make a move with our leadership in the state that it's in. So the next couple weeks are going to be, I don't know, appreciate what we have, folks, because things could change. You never know. We just never know. We never know. But right now, man, my life isn't great. But in so many other ways it is. Like, it's just, man, I went to church last night. I know one hassled me. I just walked right. I got in my vehicle. I drove there, gas in my tank, and went and worshiped. Watched people sing about Jesus. They were on stage. It's like music is really good at my church. Like, and that really helps. Man, just people singing about Jesus. Like, man, it fills my heart. Like that was most of my Saturday night. Came home and farted off a little bit, and that was about it.
His enablers and political allies continue to exploit the president to substitute their destructive agenda for the interests of the American people. The unconscionable betrayal of the sacred trust that must exist between the federal government and American citizens is all around us. Destructive executive orders and policy directives, many of which were likely signed when President Biden was in a rapidly diminished state of mind, inflicted tremendous damage on our nation. By opening our southern border, unelected men and women in the White House allowed millions of migrants.
I believe he signed a deal with Ukraine when he went on that G7 mission and dawdled around. So, I mean, we don't know what he signed. I've seen one story on Yahoo. I bookmarked it, but it somehow didn't save correctly. So, and I also haven't dug into it either. I kind of figured somebody would pick it up on the all the crap that I follow, but not yet.
To illegally enter our country. To these must be added lethal drugs like fentanyl and the endless numbers of human traffickers surging into our communities, jeopardizing the safety and security of our families, especially our children. The executive orders related to energy policy prioritized the demands of climate change advocates over the needs of hardworking Americans. The outcome is skyrocketing energy costs and the end of our energy independence. This is not governance. This is pandering. Reckless spending and money printing has triggered record high inflation. This is not the leadership we deserve. The deliberate subversion of the presidency also extends to foreign and defense policy. President Biden's manipulators fueled a proxy war in Ukraine.
I wonder if this fellow's going to be in the Trump administration, or is he another war hawk like most of them seem to be? I mean, he's going to have to get people he trusts to be a Secretary of Defense, and that's probably his most needed. Who Trump picks for Secretary of Defense, I mean, that's the most critical position. I mean, his chief of staff could have huge. I mean, vice president, is huge, and if he picks a great chief of staff, that could make a big difference too. It seems like he's got a lot of great people around him. Let's just see how if he makes the right choices and he's not pushed into doing something that he shouldn't do, like Haley or Rubio. And Rubio, I don't think would be that bad. He's too established for me, and Trump's too hated. So
that risks drawing us into a catastrophic confrontation with nuclear-armed Russia. Their unqualified support for Israel's disproportionate actions in Gaza erodes our moral authority and credibility as a champion of peace and stability. These actions drained our defense resources and compromised our moral standing in the world. Sadly, President Biden's fragile mental state was laid bare for all to see in last night's debate.
Wow.
His responses were frequently incoherent. He appeared lost, even confused, struggling to complete basic thoughts. It was heartbreaking, a spectacle that confirmed our worst fears about his deteriorating capacity. No individual whose mental health is compromised should be allowed to continue in the most demanding job on earth. Americans, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in our nation's journey. In the private sector or in matters of estate planning, the validity of signatures made under such circumstances would be challenged and invalidated in a court of law. How can we accept crucial national decisions being made under these conditions? The American people deserve better. It is time to ask, who truly governs this country? Is it we the people, as our founders intended, or have we surrendered control to unelected bureaucrats, sprawling federal agencies and affluent donors who do not have the best interests of ordinary Americans at heart? To secure the blessings of liberty for this generation and those to come, we must reclaim the rightful sovereignty of the American people over a dysfunctional and unresponsive political establishment. We cannot tolerate more aimless, self-defeating leadership and unaccountable governance. We confront existential threats at home, and the Biden administration has cultivated hatred and hostility to the United States abroad. President Biden should retire with grace and dignity and not be cruelly exploited in the twilight of his life. To say it's a national shame is an understatement. This travesty should end immediately. It is now obvious that the governing power to determine our nation's destiny lies in unelected hands. Americans must raise their voices in opposition to this administration. The power belongs to the American people. We must signal our discontent with policies we did not vote for. Open borders, wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, soaring inflation, uncontrolled immigration, and demand the right to register our indignation at the ballot box. In view of the questionable legitimacy of the many executive orders issued under President Biden's signature, Americans should consider holding the presidential election early. It's time for Americans to demand a new government that is legitimate, one that is devoted to peace abroad and prosperity at home.
We need Trump right now.
It is a time for unity, a time to go forward and begin the next chapter of the most remarkable story ever told, the story of the United States of America.
Oh, so I forgot to tell you. Okay, this is almost over. Let's watch it.
Thank you for listening. God bless you, and may God bless these United States.
Okay, that man's awesome. I didn't know he existed, who he was, until I seen this. I hope there's more men like him that come out and speak out. We need that. So I did my first guest spot on the podcast Friday. Came out Saturday. I haven't watched it yet. I was very nervous, and then I heard my audio was bad. I don't know what I did. I mean, apparently it wasn't so bad. He didn't use it. I texted a guy. So the channel is called The Isaac Hayes Show. It was formerly the Cajun Conservative, and he wants to start talking about more faith-based things. We talked about the debate, but you know, he's a very religious man, and I really like him. He's an awesome dude. I think he should go by the name The Cajun Crusader. I think that's pretty cool. And it takes away the conservative word, and that's probably why he's being muted on YouTube. But this guy is good. So go check it out. Let me bring him up. Sorry. Oh, right here. Okay, so this is the one I appeared on.
How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and try to give you current world.
The dude's awesome. Give him a like, or listen to him. I mean, he's good. He doesn't put out a ton of content. I think he does like one episode a week or maybe two. But I'm just on Rumble and YouTube, I haven't figured out the other stuff yet, and he's like everywhere. So he probably does a lot more than I even see because I only see him on YouTube. But it was really cool. It was last about 20 minutes. I mean, like I don't know. I felt like an idiot at times. It's so much weird. I mean, I can talk to y'all. There's no one here. But anyway.
But I watched CNN today, and they had the presidential debate, the U.S. presidential debate. And maybe some of you saw it. And if you did, well, it was amazing. It was amazing on every level. But what was especially amazing was afterward, they went to the panel of assembled Democratic operatives posing as journalists, and all of them were like shocked to discover that Joe Biden has dementia. Like they couldn't believe it. What? Oh my gosh! He's non-compos mentis! No way! Are you serious? And I'm thinking to myself, what year is it? 2024-ish? Middle-aged people identify with that? Okay, 2024, people are saying. It was 2019 that I heard from a friend of mine who was friends with his sister, Val, that the family was very upset because Joe has dementia and he's running for president. And, well, I said this on TV, by the way, at the time, and was denounced as a racist or something. I mean, everything, in the United States, like, that's just like the all-purpose term for shut up. Racist!
He's wearing two different...
Right. Shut up, racist! Okay, anyway.
He's wearing two different striped shirts. Or, I mean, he's wearing a striped shirt and a striped tie, and they don't go together at all.
A friend of mine, like an actual friend of mine, one of my neighbors, that the family was upset and that his son, sadly, had passed away. By the way, not in Iraq fighting a war for freedom, but of cancer. I don't think he's aware of that. But it's sad, and that the family was convinced he needed to kind of get it out of his system by running for president, but of course no one's going to like make Joe Biden the nominee because we had Pete Buttigieg for that. Now it's a joke, but at the time they were like, people are going to love Pete Buttigieg. He's incompetent, but he's gay. Great. And then people were like, what? No. So they had to go to Joe Biden, and he actually became the nominee and then somehow became the president. And
is that, I guess that's what they really thought?
That he had no idea where he was, and that it was cruel, and that his grasping, horrible wife, who like poses as a doctor, was pushing this so she could go to state dinners. And everyone knew this. Like, there's not one person who didn't know this. And when you travel outside our borders, you know, people are always so nice about other people's countries. Like, they don't attack you to your face. And obviously, I'm the most American person who's ever lived, and I love my country, and I'm going to die there, and would die for it without even thinking. That's how much, and I mean that. So everyone wants to be polite to you about your country. And when, like, if I ever went to New Zealand, I wouldn't mention Jacinda Ardern or what, you know what I mean? That would be rude. I wouldn't say like, oh, that retarded girl with the teeth, is she here? You know, I wouldn't. That would be, no, I wouldn't.
Uh-oh. I got to bleep that out. He said the R word.
Says, right? You're in someone else's, you know, you're having dinner at someone's house, and like the food is appalling. Oh, it's so good. You know what I mean? But even given the high standards of politeness offered to foreigners in foreign lands, everywhere I've traveled around the world for the past 4 years, and it's been a lot of countries, people are like, so Joe Biden, how is he? And you're like, well, I think he has dementia. He certainly does. Like everybody knows, because they have, I can't remember, the internet. And it has video on it. And it takes about 15 seconds to determine the leader of the most powerful country in the world with this mass nuclear arsenal involved in 2 simultaneous wars doesn't know what day it is. And that's really scary.
Yeah, it is.
To the United States and you're in the media envelope, that's like fake world.
Now, I am, my senses are heightened, right? I mean, like, after that national display, it's like, okay, is a foreign adversary possibly going to do something, right? But they've known this. They've talked to him, or like they're not. They have their. Even if they had their. I mean, I'm sure they have spies, even if they don't just know from what they see. This wasn't a revelation to them, so I don't really know why I actually. I kind of got caught up in my own conspiracy mindset. My own. I kind of got caught up in my own conspiracy mindset.
And let the donors put someone in there who can beat the orange man, because that's democracy. And that made me start to think for the first time, maybe we're defining the word democracy a little differently. Maybe you've got a different understanding of what that means. Maybe you think democracy is when we do exactly what you and 8 of your friends want. That's what you think it is. Whereas I think democracy is when you do the will of the majority over time.
Tucker Carlson, everybody. So anyway, I want to get back to the far enough movement. Listen. There are issues that I've found when I was doing an episode on the radical left-wing communist, aside from Bobby Kennedy, that are running for president. Cornel West, Jill Stein, Oliver Chase, and RFK. I disagree with him on a lot of stuff. But I was looking at their platforms and just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Go back and look at that episode. I think I did a pretty good job. But there's a lot of things I agreed with. And maybe for different reasons, but why are left and right so, because that's what they want us to be. But there's a lot of issues that we could probably solve pretty easily that would make things better. They want it. We want it. Let's do it, right? So it's not far left. It's not far right. It's we've been pushed far enough. That's what I'm thinking, okay? So this came up accidentally. I kind of had this idea for this that I was going to do in the future. I don't really have much time to do it besides from this. So we're going to redo criminal justice. And I'm going to do a full episode on it, like I think on my 100th episode or my 100th whatever drop. I mean, I used to do clips and really episodes, and now I'm just, So we're going to have criminal justice reform, National Voting Day. What's next? A federal jobs program. Like, okay, that sounds like a lot of socialism for me. Yes. But what if somebody could serve the government instead of just getting a welfare check, and maybe for a vital function, and then maybe when you're in prison, if you're a good prisoner, you can work for the federal jobs program. And when you get out, you can put that on your resume, and it'll be true. The same as it is for somebody who's doing in the same program, but doing something completely, mopping floors on a nuclear submarine. I don't know. But why don't we cut the overhead of the government to an extent with like a temporary kind of jobs program? You're telling me that we can't, make the mail different? I don't know. Like, could we help sort packages? I don't know. Like, there has to be ways that we could help people get back to work. And I don't think this doesn't need to this is a federal jobs program. Okay, yes, that's increasing government, but you're going to reduce government in a lot of other areas because of this program, because they can send out the workforce. So that's the idea for this week. I'll keep rolling them out. I don't know, make a comment if you want. I'm still not quite brave enough to read the comments, but, fight amongst yourselves. But saying it's a horrible idea, you're probably right. But I don't know. I think it's worth exploring if done correctly. And that's probably why it's a horrible idea, because there's no way it could ever be done correctly. So, so that's all I got, folks. Have a great weekend. Love the Lord. Love your neighbor. Love life, people. We only get one. Things could change quickly around here. Have a good one. Bye.
This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
This war stops now.
End the war. Bring freedom to our people.
No more tricks. No more lies. Only truth.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight!